Math with Mr. Baumhofer.
Hello, third graders. Mr. Baumhofer here with another video lesson on fractions. So in the first video lesson I made on fractions, we talked about fractions that were less than 1 whole, or in between 0 and 1. So I have a couple examples just as a reminder. Okay, now on the top I have the fraction 1/5 using a fraction bar. I divided it into 5 pieces and shaded in the piece that represents the fraction 1/5 or 1/5. All 5 pieces equal 1 whole. And then on the fraction line on the bottom, 1/6, I have a little bit of a diagram there for how you would break up 1 whole into 6 parts and what each part and then its added on part next to it would equal as a fraction. So you'll notice 1/6 would be right where the first tick is after to the right of the 0. And now 0 would be 0/6. So 0 parts. And then you have 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, 5/6, and 6/6 equals 1, because 6 divided by 6 is 1. That equals 1 whole. So in this lesson, we're going to go over fractions greater than 1. So I have 2 other examples here, one being a fraction bar and one being a fraction line. And so each of these is broken up into 8 sections. The fraction bar on top has 8 sections with 1 whole equaling 4 sections. So there's 2 holes on top and 2 holes on bottom. And so if I were to say, well, can you find me 7/4? I would, if I were to go on in my fraction bar, I would count up 7 sections, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I would shade all of those sections in. So 7/4 would look something like this on a fraction bar on the top. Then on a fraction line, I could just put my tick where 7/4 is, or put an X, or circle it. Okay, and I have those written out to show you how, depending on what the fraction greater than 1 is, how you would draw it out. Okay, say I asked for 5/4. Where is 5/4? Well, 5/4 is greater than 1 whole. 5/4 would be 1 and then another quarter, 1/4 after it. So it would be 4/4 plus 1/4, which would equal 5/4. Okay. In a minute here, I'm going to show you some slides with some other visuals as well to help you out. Okay, so these are fractions greater than 1. So if we take a look at our slides, and as a reminder, I started out with some definitions for fractions. The denominator, the number on the bottom, tells how many parts the whole is divided into. The numerator, the number on the top, tells how many equal parts you are talking about. In this case, 10 is the numerator and 18 is the denominator. Here are some visuals. Let me get that off the screen for a second so you can see the fraction. Okay, so if we had 3 circles and all 3 of them are divided equally into 3 parts, and we were looking to shade them in to show 7/3, well, we have 1, 2, 3 shaded in here, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so that's how you would show 7/3 with this specific diagram. Okay, if we were to shade all of them in, let's think about how many thirds would that be? It would be greater than 1. So if we shaded in all three of these circles completely, we would have 3 parts in each, which would add up to 3, 6, 9 thirds. And 9 divided by 3 is 3. Let's look at the next slide. This visual might help out a little more. Okay, so this is a fraction with a whole number and a fraction that's greater than 1. And how you can show that in just fraction form is over to the right, 13/4. Well, if we have 4 squares and each square is broken up into 4 parts, how could we show 3 1/4? Well, 4 parts in the first, 4 plus 4 is 8. So 2 squares would equal 8. And then 4 plus 4 plus 4 is 12. And so that would be 3 full squares. And then we have 1 more quarter shaded in on the 4th square to equal 13/4. This can be kind of a tricky concept to understand, fractions greater than 1. But I will be doing some more videos on comparing fractions and equivalent fractions. And so stay tuned for more of those, third graders.